My question is are there really any examples that come to mind that you can say kind of enriches your experience and your thinking in Estonian public administration, basically ideas that are transferable in terms of regulations? Anything comes to mind that might be useful when you look at it from this angle?
I would guess that a lot of legislation is transferable, usually because a lot of countries, especially European countries, usually some issues, obstacles, problems are quite same. So there was an example of people's mobility. If I may say maybe why it's more liberal, I would say that Estonia was like the first country. A little bit the country's legislation grew with the service provider together, because small scooter service, if you remember 10 years ago, this kind of service didn't exist. So we had the chance to actually grow with this, as the service grew at that time. Maybe that's one example, but I would say...
I'll keep that thought, but so the explanation might be hidden in the fact that in the country where that particular kind of innovation happens,
it's easier to implement it into legislation.
All right, yeah. and kind of it grows naturally, both the regulation and the business, but when it's kind of applied to another country, it doesn't follow this natural path of development, right?
Yeah, because this country already has a little bit different regulation, right. And it's always, as we know, it's always harder to change regulations than to start building building up a new legislation or regulation. Maybe that's why, I don't know, it's just a thought of mine. But what we are seeing, as I mentioned with the small scooter services, what is happening not only in Baltic states, but we are seeing technology is advancing so much faster than legislation. Usually, framework of legislation and different bills is so much more conservative. So a lot of companies struggle to test new ideas, new technologies, because the legislation is not just there. So in Estonia, I know in different countries as well, we are implementing different sandbox or test areas where you can test new technology ideas that are not regulated yet, because just technology develops so much faster. So that's something I think Estonia is doing great. We can do it better, and I can say, having a really good discussion with my counterparts from Latvia and from Lithuania, that the end goals are quite same. Maybe how you get there might be different in comparing to the country, but we see the same obstacles, but we see the same opportunities. So at least I would say the Baltic as a region, why I mentioned 80-20 previously, comparing to the global world, we're quite really similar. We have our own maybe differences, but looking at the broader picture, the business environment, how governments interact with private entities, entrepreneurs, with different have a dialogue with different associations, it's quite similar.
We have representatives here from, and the Livonia Award also showed that, kind of very different sectors of the economy, right? We had EP, agriculture, also media, audiovisual, kind of arts, cinema, and then technology both, obviously. Which sectors would you see as the drivers in this future quest for cooperation? Or is it really, or perhaps the ambition is to be multi-sectoral? Right?
This has been the question, I guess, not in Estonia. Should we pick out 3, 4, 5 key areas and focus on them? Or should we see like the free market will do their thing, and good business models, good business ideas will come up? So this has been this discussion, not in Estonia only, but of course what we have seen, what's exceptional in Estonia, of course, ICT sector. It's growing rapidly. It has been one of our key foundations when we go abroad, talk about the Estonian economy, what stage in the global level, how we can affect different companies. Let's take, for example, I was in Germany, in Hannover Messe a couple of months ago. basically everybody knew that if we're talking about Estonian industry, you're talking about automatization, you're talking about digitalization, making things more effective. So this kind of leverage we already have, and that's why that's why my title is also Minister of Economy and Industry. We are doing really great in ICT, but we have to implement this ICT's know-how into different industries. Agriculture, food industry, manufacturing, different industries. We have so much possibilities. So I wouldn't, at this point, I wouldn't handpick like 3 or 5 different areas, because it would be a little bit presumptuous. Maybe we just don't know yet how to collaborate between ICT and different industry, where we will find a new Bolt or some kind of new €1 billion idea. Because let's take Bolt, for example. It was a taxi industry that got technologized, basically. It found a full new industry.
All right. When you're sitting at your desk and your advisors come to you and give you a folder with the name Latvia written on it, what's in that folder? What's the most important item for the Minister of Economy of Estonia? What's in your Latvia folder, top item?
Really difficult question, because as my advisors always say that I never sit on my desk, because I never have the time. I have been the minister already a year. I've never once doing a video. I would sit on my desk. Usually I'm meeting with entrepreneurs, we're having different meetings. But if coming to mind Latvia, maybe from Estonian perspective, 2 things. Of course, Rail Baltica. It's under the Ministry of Infrastructure, but still, it's also an economy project, it's a security project, it's transportation project. It's a big deal for the whole Baltic region. But the previous thing actually was the Estonian-Latvian fourth connection, electricity connection. So this was the previous thing I can remember. So a lot of planning is being done in the Ministry of Economy in Estonia. So I would say those 2 things.
Basically infrastructure, right?
Basically infrastructure.
That connects us.
Because as seen in the survey, what we had on the conference, infrastructure is quite a crucial input for different entrepreneurs. You have to have good roads, infrastructure, access to internet, fast internet access to cheap, renewable, clean energy. So infrastructure is something that is crucial, where private and public partnership have to be working really actively.
All right. Let me, and we'll involve you, but another question to the Minister, and
Okay.
then let me do a bit of a provocation, something I'd like to do. So Latvia and Estonia are, on the one hand, natural competitors, right, in some sense. Also, in a sense, we're natural collaborators for larger projects. Give me your best kind of guess, percentage-wise. Are we 50% collaborators, 50% competitors, or maybe 70-30? Or what is your, obviously it's difficult to calculate it, but in your kind of sense, overall feeling about the relationship, economic interaction Latvia and Estonia are having, are we more of a competitor or more of a collaborators?
I would say we are friendly rivalries, because at the same time, as mentioned, we are a little bit competing against each other, but at the same time, I know a lot of good collaborations. And usually, I know a lot of Estonian companies who are exporting in different markets. So they are collaborating in Latvia and actually exporting to a third or fourth, some other country. So if you ask me percentages, I would say 80-20 as a Pareto principle usually is, like 80% collaborators, maybe 20% competitors.
Is that something you could share this assessment? 80% collaborators, 20%? No, not really. But let's make it an objective. I think it sounds good as an objective. All right, our countries, we do have an ambition to be seen and to act and to behave as part of Northern Europe, in a larger regional context. Are we succeeding in that, you think? Like, really?
I hope so, but first of all, let me say that because my Estonian child has watched a lot to so I know it means that people are similar, children are similar, so interaction is there, and as you mentioned, yeah, it's for kids who don't speak and maybe act as much because they're quite young at the moment, so there's a lot of similarity, it seems.
That's great.
But coming to the Nordic part, I guess what we have in Estonia, maybe in Latvia and Lithuania, what we have been thinking is that we see in a global level that Scandinavia or Nordics is a brand. Basically, it's a brand of quality, that things have been done exceptionally, products are in good quality, everything is in order. If you have any problems, you will get help whenever it's needed. If you're even an investor outside of this country, you have the same rights and you will get help if needed. I would say that this is something that in the future politics should be. The same brand mark that if you know something has been done in Baltic countries, it means it's a sign of recognition. It's a sign of excellent quality, good services, super human relations, so on. I guess that's something that we should be achieving towards to. It's not still there, of course, because the Nordics have been doing it for 50 plus years, but I would say that as I have seen, I have had the possibility to travel as a minister of foreign trade as well a lot, and usually it is a question about branding. And as you a little bit mentioned, are we only selling ideas, or do we have ideas in ICT in Estonia? Of course we have, but as seen, you have to sell. You have to sell your ideas. They have to be so to say touchable. They have to be recognized. They have to be like, okay, I'm hearing something that no other country is doing. You have to have some kind of leverage. And if you do those things, but at the same time you say, I'm from the Baltic region, you will get the recognition, but it's a lot of work to be done. Not 1 or 2 years, it's 5 years, it's 10 years. It's an ongoing work on how to find that if you're in Baltic states, that means you're in excellent shape, you're a good quality company doing exceptional services or products.
All right, let us call it a day. And please, I mean, I usually don't do advertisement, but take a bowl, watch a tuta, and let's continue kind of developing this sense of Livonia and the awards that have been given. This is a good thing, a good collaboration, both in the past and in the future. So thank you very much for everyone being present here. I think you can continue networking, which is a great part of this, these kinds of events and opportunities. And a great round of applause to Marta Salecka, and Minister Keldo as well. Thank you very much.